Okay, starting with MM and SD, because we have a combination of MMSD production planning. So MM will actually give us the baseline. And for that, we will have to understand the enterprise structure, the material types, what is an enterprise structure, and how it is basically connected with the other departments of the entire organization that is basically represented by the finance department, the sales and logistics department. So speaking of enterprise structure, this is how it is laid out in SAP, where we have the client on the top. This is the mother company, or you can say the group of companies, or the structure where the decision making actually happens, and they seldom have anything to do with SAP because being technically sound is not their role. Their role is decision making, and SAP actually helps augment the decision making. Under the client, of course, we have a company. Now, company can be any company that publishes its own financial documents every year. That entity is called company, and there can be multiple companies over here. Now, speaking of company, of course, that company can be of any segment of any industry, any niche, okay, like chemicals, agriculture, manufacturing, FMCG. Now, these are the niches, the industries. Under that, we have the company code. The company code basically it publishes its own financial instruments and documents, statements every year. And this company code basically is where operations are being handled and controlled. This is where the finance manager actually comes in, the CFO comes in. At the company level, at the client level, of course, we have the directors. Under the company code, we have plants. Now, plants is where either the goods or the stock is stored and or manufactured. That is a plant. Okay. And plant basically reports to the company board. And under the plants, we have a whole rich culture of departments like sales organization, purchase organization, purchasing groups. Storage location basically is related directly with the plants. Speaking of materials management enterprise structure, we have the plant under the company code, and we have this controlling area. Now, what is a controlling area? Again, this is a reporting unit and is a very rich reporting unit when it comes to product costing, material costing. And controlling area basically is superlative to the company code. Now, company code again, if you have to have an integration with the controlling area, for example, this company code is in Spain, okay, and the other company code is in England, okay. The fiscal year, the reporting times, the financial jurisdictions will be different. Spanish financial legislation will be different for taxation, and English legislation and taxation laws will be different. So for controlling, for costing, it actually mandates that it necessitates that a company code, if it has to integrate with me from Spain and from England, it should have some criteria that has to be met, the baseline, which is the fiscal year variant, the fiscal year in simple language, and the other is the chart of accounts. Now, what is the chart of accounts? The chart of accounts is a group of GL accounts. Now, speaking of GL accounts, for example, the structure of your books will be the same for Spain, and the structure of the books for England will be the same. For example, if you have a book, a novel that you're reading, if it has to be related, the novel has to be 100 pages. If it is 100 pages in Spain, it will be 100 pages in England. Okay. So in that book, you have many GL accounts being handled, being reported to, where the entries are being influenced and being entered and reflected. So in that very novel, you will see that in Spain, of course, these are the expenses, and this much of material has been consumed, purchased, and produced and shipped out. Same goes for England. So the books will actually remain the same, 100 pages here, 100 pages there. So the controlling area that actually gives you the true picture of how the company codes are performing every month and every year. Okay. So in that way, this is how the enterprise structure is laid out. Speaking of finance and controlling, these are some of the areas that I've already discussed very briefly. And the elements that we have is operating concern. It's a bit technical discussion that we'll go into if we start explaining operating concern, controlling area. I've given a gist of it, a summarized gist of it in our discussion. And company code, of course, we already have an understanding right now, a basic understanding. Credit control area, basically, if I have to shed light on this, credit control is basically for your vendors and customers. And what is credit control? Basically, you cannot sell to a customer more than the threshold that has been set by the company. You cannot sell for more than 20,000 pounds or dollars to a certain customer. Okay, the company will set that. No employee will be able to do that. So that threshold, we said that is called the credit control area. Same goes the vendor. From the vendor, you cannot purchase for more than 5,000 pounds or 10,000 pounds. Okay, and that threshold is set for every employee group. And that is basically fundamental in materials management. Then comes the sales department. We have the structure, the sales org. Under that, we have distribution channel, division, sales org, and sales. What are distribution channels basically? Now, distribution channels can be geographical, like the Pacific will be handled by one distribution channel. The South Asia part will be handled by a different distribution channel. So, for example, if you have like Pacific and South Asia, then under that we'll have divisions. Now, these are product divisions. For example, the company is dealing with agriculture machinery. That is one division, but is also selling and producing agriculture chemicals. So that is another division. Or you can also define it as per
Various businesses of the same organization.
Yeah, I mean you can differentiate it as per the business, as per the selling line. For example, if you're selling it online, that will be an online division, and if you're selling it through retail channel, that can be a division as well. So you can actually separate it using the products, or you can separate it as per the geographical convenience. Okay, or you can split the division in multi channels like wholesale, retail, online, corporate, okay, and maybe customized. That's how you can define your channels. Now, sales offices basically from where your stock will be moved, plus the sales order will be generated from these sales offices. Sales group again, number of sales officers can become a sales group, or it can be a product-wise sales group, like for example, agri-chemical sales group and the agri-machinery sales group. Okay. Logistics. Now, under logistics, of course, we have the plants where the stock is being produced. We have storage location under that. Then we have purchase org, which handles purchasing of raw materials, semi-finished good, and other items. Then we have purchasing groups. And purchasing groups, again, one group will be responsible for purchasing chemicals, the other will be responsible for raw materials, the other will be responsible for basic other administrative materials. So that's a purchasing group. Now, plant is where production activities are performed and goods and services are stored. So a manufacturing setup can be a plant, or a head office can also be designated as a plant. Storage location is a physical area where the stock will be stored. Like raw material location is denoted and defined as 0001. This is not hard and fast rule, but this is how it actually is maintained in the landscape of SAP. Semi-finished products will be stored at this location. So this gets reflected in the books. Purchase org, I've already told you, this is basically responsible for procuring material of different categories. Okay. Purchasing group, it represents buyer or a group of buyers. Like Andrew is one person for a small company who is a purchasing group in himself and is responsible. Or if the company is a bit large, has grown in size, it will have defined a separate segment, a separate group for raw material buyers, for other material, for semi-finished goods, and for other catalyst material. Material types. Now, material types in broader terms, in simple words, raw material is one material type. Semi-finished is another material type. Scrap material is another material type. Assets is another material type. Finished goods is another material type. Okay. The material types, raw material, semi-finished, packaging, finished, these are the various types that you get in SAP. The views in Material Master. Now, what are views basically? The discussion that we just had in all these areas like company code, plant, purchasing group, storage location, division, sales group, sales offices, everything basically becomes a part of the material master. So the material master data becomes views. Now, if you allow me, I will show you how a material master actually looks like. Just okay, I'll just pick up any material from here. So we have views that will select. Okay, star. Oh, now star is basically a wildcard search. So it actually search for this term wherever it finds in the description, and it will bring us all of the results. This is finished good. This is raw material. So we'll pick up raw material right now. Select views. Now these are the views basically. So these are the views that have been maintained. So what are the views? Basically, these are related to your departments. Okay. So starting with basic data, which will be the names, the unit of measurement, and the translated version of the material name and its description and its volume, size, and everything will be there. Okay. Then we have sales org data. Then we have plant data. We have MRP for production. Then we have storage data. We have accounting data, views. Now these are views, costing data. So we'll go for. Okay. Now plant is IM 01. I hope so. This is available. Yeah. IM 01. In this very plant, we'll have storage location. Let's see. We will search for storage location. 3030 is for raw material storage location. Okay. Sales org. Okay. Direct sales. Distribution channel. It's already connected with sales org. So distribution channel gets picked up automatically. Okay, so this is how your material master looks like. The gross weight, its name, kg, division, material group. Okay. And then we have unit of measurement, kgs, basic data 2. We have other details that we can, like industrial description, segmentation, page number, if it is a design drawing. And we have sales org 1 details. It's belonging to the north segment or north sector of this company, and it will be sold under direct sales distribution channel. Division is small cars. Now, division and distribution channel are two different things. So this will be sold through direct sales. For the division, small cars. Okay. Now, these are the taxes that will be levied when it is sold as finished good. Okay. So tax codes can be mentioned also in the very material master. Item category is make to order. Okay. And plant data, it will measured in kg, gross weight is 1. Then we have MRP 1. We have base unit of measure is kg, purchasing group is IMG. There will be no planning. So these are some very molecular details that go into defining a complete material master. Okay. Then we have plant data storage. Plant data storage again, some details will be repeated, replicated. Because in SAP, of course, in SAP, the data is shared and is being used at multiple levels. Okay. Okay. Accounting 1. In accounting 1, of course, we'll have profit centers as well and the pricing of the product. This gets updated. Valuation class, how it will be integrated with finance. Okay. How much of stock is being maintained. We go for accounting 2. Now, these are some prices that will get updated once the product costing is being run. Costing, how it will be costed. Costing 2. Land price, no final price, but standard price is 190. Once the production run is basically run, this will get updated. Okay. Plant stock, let's see if it actually brings up and pulls up the data from the stock. We have unrestricted that can be used anytime. 75 units are there. Okay. For July 2026. So this is how you actually have a material master. Okay. So I hope you get the point. And we've already discussed all of these views, material views. Again, we have data that is stored in material master. So these are the views that we have just discussed. Okay. So sequence of views is basically based on the industrial type. So if you're talking about a chemical industry, it will be different from the mechanical industry. The views will be less or more reduced, or the design will be a little bit. I mean, the fields will either get added to the material master based on the industry or will get removed. If it is services industry, of course, the fields will be much more lesser than a manufacturing industry-based material master. Okay. So the fields in the material master can be made as mandatory or it can be hidden from plain sight as we have seen. These fields can be removed or added or maintained as per the industrial category that we're talking about and as per the material type. So it is controlled through the field group. So now you've actually understood what it should be clear what is an infrastructure, what is a material master, how the views are maintained, what are material types. I believe this should be easy to comprehend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.